action. Thank you for being here tonight. Woo! Yeah.
This group of community activists often holds events like this in their storefront office in West Phoenix. But today, they're trying out something new.
We believe that safety at its core is with each other. It is not with more police. Encourage teachers, co-workers, and organizers to avoid inviting police into classrooms, workplaces, and public spaces.
There's not a single thing wrong with going to the police department, right? You go to them, and it avoids bringing them into your community.
If you're part of a group that's holding a rally or demonstration, don't get a permit or otherwise cooperate with the police.
What was unique about this event?
This was the first time that we've actually started having this conversation about what to do without calling the police. What could our community look like if in different situations, instead of calling the police, we did something else?
Poder in Action's position is pretty extreme, but it's coming in the wake of a bad few years for community police relations in Phoenix. Last year, the city had the most fatal police shootings in America, with 23. Those numbers have gotten better. So far this year, it's at 8.
Get out the fucking car! Get out the fucking car right now!
But there's also been a number of high-profile incidents, like the time in May when a viral video captured police drawing their guns on a family suspected of shoplifting. And in June, when a collection of racist and xenophobic Facebook posts by current and former members of the force were published by a watchdog group. The department says both are under investigation.
Okay, this is the final product. Do you like that?
Paris Wallace and Ben Laughlin, both members of Poder, gave up on the police a long time ago.
Being a Black person, I rarely would think to call the police. It wouldn't be my first go-to, right? Especially here. The Phoenix Police Department has all of these things stacked against them.
Last August, their house was broken into. Instead of calling the cops, they chose to handle it themselves. They changed their locks, started a GoFundMe to replace what was stolen, and used a tracking app to find their computer, which turned up in a house across town. Though they decided not to risk a confrontation with whoever had it.
Right? Not one time did it cross our minds to call the police.
Why not?
I mean,
I think part of it is we're really well aware of the violence that the Phoenix PD is becoming really well known for, right?
But you didn't get any stuff back. You could have called the police and they could have gone in and gotten your stuff back.
At that point, I did not believe that it was probably in the hands of the person that it started with. And so, that person was going to get criminalized for a thing that they had traded for, And so to me, it was it wasn't worth it.
Britt London, the president of the Phoenix Police Union, says he doesn't know how things got this bad.
I started this job in 1995, and after I got out of field training, the first thing my sergeant made me do was go to block watch meetings and get involved. It is the best thing because you get to know people. But on the same token, there were people that they're not going to let me come to their house because they're gangsters. They're involved in crime all the time. And those are the people that oppose us.
But you're not saying that the only people who oppose the police are criminals.
No, there are some that oppose us for various reasons, I guess.
You don't have a sense of what their criticism is?
Well, some of them are just, I think that they want the police to go away. They don't want police anywhere.
Their argument is that the police in Phoenix have a track record of taking a smaller incident like a burglary, and it escalates into something worse. So they would just rather solve that problem without bringing in police.
How do they solve the problem?
They go on with life. They find other ways to get their stuff back and move on.
Less work for us, I guess. If you're doing everything you can not to call the police, you could be hurting your fellow community member. You're allowing something to happen that could happen to anyone else, but you're not going to notify the police of it. So, I don't see that as a help.
I mean, does it bother you? Does it worry you if that catches on? If that becomes a phenomenon?
That is not a trend. We get support here all the time, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for the relationship we have with the part of the community that does criticize us, but it's extremely difficult to reach out to them and sit down and go, hey, how can we fix this?
Phoenix isn't the only city trying to figure out how to fix this problem. Police shootings across the nation regularly draw outrage from community activists.
No justice!
And those offensive Facebook posts released in June also included messages from cops in cities like St. Louis and Philadelphia. Philly PD suspended more than a dozen officers and announced that firings were coming. Phoenix police told Vice News they're dedicated to building confidence and trust in the community. Last year, they commissioned an outside group to study why their shooting rates were so high. And they've announced a plan to track every time an officer points a gun at someone. Kevin Robinson, a former assistant police chief, says both groups have to do better.
There is a natural instinct maybe from the police corner to say, we're
fine.
so we don't need to change anything.
You can no longer afford to think that way. You just can't. Any police department that thinks the way things are is the best way it's going to be and nothing's going to change, they're crazy, because something bad is going to happen and people aren't going to trust you.
How much does it concern you if communities start to say, we're just not going to call the police?
It can be devastating because you got to remember, if people aren't going to call the police, other people are going to take advantage of that.
Is there a limit to what kind of crime that you experience that might make you say, you know what, I'm going to get the police involved in this?
I mean, we have kids, right? And if my children ever went missing, right? If the lives of my kids were threatened after, and that's our threshold.
But as far as one of you being the victim of something, your standard is much higher.
Yeah. I mean, I
think a lot of this too, it is, you have to figure it out for yourself. Getting the opportunity to think about what that line is for you is important, and it does. It matters about your immigration status, it matters gender, it matters your family situation. For ourselves, it would take a lot.